The meetings will be recorded, and with permission, we will post this on our website, ifmalic.org, and also on IFMA LIC YouTube channel. Any handouts or white papers that may be offered well, we're not going to offer any handouts today, so this doesn't really apply. But once the presentation is started, all attendees will be muted, or we ask everybody to mute themselves, actually. And then during the presentation, you can post questions or comments in the chat. We do have somebody monitoring that, and we will have sort of an open discussion at the end where we're talking about events and such. If you're having any technical difficulties or need assistance, we recommend you contact your IT people. And grab a pen and paper. We're looking forward to having this discussion. All right, Phyllis.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. My name is Phyllis Mettler. I'm the past president of the Legal Industry Council, and I'm really glad you're all here with us today. Thank you for joining us and taking the time out of your busy schedule to join our annual call and for your continued support of the Legal Industry Council. We really couldn't do this without all of you as members. Before we jump in, I wanted to share a quick update. Caitlin Badger and Chris Eckel have stepped down from the Legal Industry Board. They've moved on into a new industry, and we're grateful for all of the work they've done supporting the council, and we wish them both the very best as they move on to their next adventure. Now for the fun part. I'm excited to introduce the new IFMA LIC Board of Directors for the 2025-2027 term. This group has stepped up with a lot of enthusiasm, and they're committed to supporting the legal industry and keeping our mission strong, helping guide where we want to go over the next few years. Each of them bring a unique experience, energy, and a real passion for improving facilities within the legal industry. Please join me in congratulating our new board as they step into their leadership role. First off, Catherine Long is our new president. She's the Office Operations and Safety Manager for Morrison Forster. Our Vice President is CJ Cynthia Lucas. She's Facility Manager, Williams and Connolly. Our Secretary is Jen Gustafsson. And Jen, I apologize if I pronounced your name wrong. She's
close enough.
Office Manager at Levenfield in Pariston. And our new treasurer is Christy Raby. And I apologize again. You just told me how to pronounce it. I'll get it right eventually. It may take me a couple times. So as we welcome our new board, we'd also like to invite each of you to stay involved and share your ideas and where you would like to see the LIC in the future. We're always looking for additional members to volunteer for the extended board to assist with planning and other things. Like we have the LIC dinner at World Workplace. We like to get together for breakfast, and we always need help with other things like doing phone trees and doing flyers, things like that. So the open positions we have available, we have a communications chair. That's appointed by the president. And we can, if you're interested in any of these positions, please email us and we can give you job descriptions of what's all involved in those positions. So there's the communications chair, the programs chair, the sponsorship committee, and the other committee members extended board, like I said, and that's just, assisting with World Workplace items, phone trees, things like that. Thank you. and welcome. And I'd like to turn it over to our new president, Catherine Long.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks, Phyllis, and welcome, everybody. I'm really glad you're here today. I've been with this group just for a few weeks now, and I think a few of us are new on the council, and we're getting to know each other pretty quickly. And it's been a fast onboarding, but we're really excited to work together. And Phyllis is such a great steward of the committee, and she's been super helpful. So we're really looking forward to doing a lot for the members, hopefully this year. I went completely off script there, but today I'm just gonna recap real quick. We're gonna recap the 2025 from each of our council members, including highlights from World Workplace in Minneapolis, and the key takeaways that directly reflect the mission and work of this council last year. Then we'll look ahead to 2026, reviewing major IFMA events and discussing potential LIC activities, webinars, and learning and social opportunities that we're exploring for you all. We'll also open the floor up for your input because that really shapes what activities we'll plan for the year. I'm really excited to work with our board and all of you as we continue building this supportive and collaborative group. It's really a forward-thinking space where we can, within our specialized industry, where we all have very unique challenges within the FM profession. And so appreciate all of you being here. All right, let's turn it over to Christy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Raby, treasurer, and I just joined a few weeks ago as well. So just getting up to speed on everything. But currently, the Legal Industry Council has a balance of $36,272. The funds come from our wonderful sponsors, and we are looking to renew some of our current sponsors and always looking for more sponsors to contribute to the Legal Industry Council to bring us, information and webinars and things. So if you have any vendors or relationships with anyone that you think may be interested in supporting this group, please let us know. The Legal Industry Council receives its funds from sponsors and also our membership dues. So if you know of anybody in the legal industry who has not, who may be interested in IFMA and or the Legal Industry Council, please let us know. We do receive a portion of the membership dues for the Legal Industry Council, which helps our funds to bring you some information and webinars and things. Our expenses over 2025, the major expenses were our website administration, and then we were able to award a scholarship to a student, Sebastian, who is pursuing a career in facilities management. So that is a quick recap of where we stand.
All right. Thank you, Christy. I am Robert Briso. I'm the membership chair for IFMA. As of 2025, we have currently 80 members in the LIC. We were actually able to add 16 new members within 2025, which is great. And then much echoing what Christy was saying, we will be doing a membership drive. So we ask all of you within the LIC that if you have colleagues that have not yet joined the LIC, keep an eye out. In January, we will be putting some materials out, and we would love to have everybody on board and join the team. And with that, I will turn it over to Jen.
Hi, Jen Gustafson, newly appointed secretary. For 2025 sponsor programs and webinars, we had a few webinars evolving workplaces, legal perspectives on space, strategy and culture, how smarter record strategies unlock space, security, and savings for law firms. We're going to link those webinars on the LIC page in January 2026. Like to say thank you to all our 2025 sponsors, Maptician, Miller Knoll, and Forest Solutions. Forest Solutions and Maptician have committed to renewals for 2026. And we are looking forward to any webinars that they'll be able to put on for 2026 for us in the near future. I'll hand it to Craig.
Probably help if my mic was turned on. Good morning for those of you that are in the Central Time Zone and to the West. 2025, we've got presently 42 members with new credentials in the LIC, which is fantastic. We are probably one of the highest credentialed councils, presently in IFMA. We have really three main programs in IFMA. The FMP, which focuses on facilities management. It's the facilities management professional designation, which focuses on newer practitioners, folks that haven't been in the business for a terribly long time, like some of us old folks, and is more learning oriented. It's more focused on learning more about the profession and the craft. The SFP, which is focused entirely on sustainability, which is sustainability facilities professional. Phyllis, I think the last large study group we did was FMP related. We have not done an SFP class in a while, and then moving to the final credential, which is the CFM, which is the Certified Facility Manager, which is a lot more in depth, requires some years of practice before you can sit for the exam. It's a much more in-depth requirement for that. We haven't done either the SFP or the CFM prep as a group in a number of years. Would be interested in seeing if there is interest in the council in doing either or both of those. The 2026 Facility Fusion pre-conference event is featuring an in-person CFM exam prep. If you are thinking about the CFM, just give me a call. Reach out to me, shoot me an email. I'll call you back. We can talk about the advantages, pros, cons, where you probably will need to focus some of your extra study efforts. Law firms tend to be lessors of space, not building owners, property managers. And so there are some extra study guides that we can get to you, and some other things we can help you with. In the past, we have done training groups and study groups together. As a whole, we've had a fairly large number of people go through those programs. Again, although we didn't do one in 2025, Phyllis. The last one was 2024. So we're due to do one, and would be interested if you're interested in doing any of the certifications. Reach out to me, let me know. Reach out to anybody on the board, and we can get you some resources for that. If we have enough people that can commit to doing a study group, who want to commit to doing one of the certifications, we can normally get IFMA to work with us to give us some discounting. We also have had some assistance from the board in the past with helping people to pay for their certifications. We've asked the board on a number of occasions for larger groups. I think the last one, Phyllis, we covered anybody who successfully took and passed the exam. I think we gave them some money back as a reimbursement on the program to help incentivize people to move forward with credentialing. We are probably, I think, the only council that is doing that presently. And so happy to talk about that. Any questions, anything I can answer for anybody? Is my microphone working?
Craig, this is Wayne. If anybody needs a connection with any IFMA credentialed instructors that are reasonably priced and very good, and maybe we can bundle things together with other councils, I'm happy to do that. We have, for example, Tina Schaus come in twice a year to the Corporate Facilities Council for the CFM exam prep, and she gives us extremely good pricing because it's consistent. She can plan on it and predict it. And I can always hit some of them up to say, look, if we bundle something together with another council, how does that look financially? So if there's anything we can do to partner and make that easier and better, just let me know.
That's great. Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate that.
All right, next we have CJ, who's going to talk about World Workplace.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here. Like others, I'm fairly new to the board, holding the VP position. I am going to cover some of the highlights from the Minnesota World Workplace this year. For most of you guys who have attended a World Workplaces event, you know that World Workplace offers an abundance of memorable experiences. So far more than I can cover here at this meeting. However, I just wanted to spotlight some of the highlights and the thrilling moments that I personally enjoyed over the 3-day period. What I truly enjoy the most is really connecting with people, networking, and seeing people and meeting people from all over the globe. I especially am very look forward to meeting up with the LIC members, having that one-on-one, the face-to-face. We get to enjoy a lot of things together and exchange ideas. This year, 7 members attended a World Workplace. We have law that represents law firms from San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Atlanta, Los Angeles, and Baton Rouge. Together, we came together, we had a lot of meetups. We gathered to learn and to share fresh ideas and immerse ourselves in all the celebrations. And of course, to celebrate IFMA's 30th workplace and 45th anniversaries. We also, as you can see in this picture here, where you see the table, the exhibit table that the young ladies are standing by, we had the opportunity to meet with a lot of attendees who stopped by our table. We passed out pamphlets. We discussed the LIC core values. We passed out pins, and it was really exciting to see folks that are interested in the legal facility management environment. So after that, following that, we all went to the auditorium to hear the highly anticipated speech from Damon Johns, who is a hip hop mogul. For those of you guys who don't know, he's also was the creator of FUBU, a fashion designer, as well as one of the stars of the successful Shark Tank show. So that was very exciting. Along with that, what else did we do? It's so much to cover. But I'm going to try to wrap it up as much as possible. But Damon's speech was very, very exciting. His session was titled The Principles of Success and a Roadmap for Resilient Leadership. He went through a personal journey of where he started from and where he is today that guided his success, which is very helpful. He reminded us all about just having the positive mindset and all the keys to thriving in both business and in your personal life. So that was exciting. Following that, there was a marching band that came and led us through to the exhibit hall, to the expo, where there was more than 350 excited exhibitors eagerly waiting to share with us their new products that were on in the market today. So that was very helpful. A few of us had some things that we wanted to look at and to find out about, and it was great doing this with our fellow LIC members. Following that, later that evening, we had a reception that kicked off a big kickoff welcome session at the U.S. Bank, at the U.S. Bank, which was the NFL Minnesota Vikings stadium. Very exciting, very exciting. Everyone was encouraged to wear their throwback tees as well as some of their vintage wear. The band that was there was fabulous. They played 80 tunes as well as 90 tunes, and they had wonderful food, music. It was a lively, lively night, and everyone enjoyed themselves a lot. I know I did. It was great to enjoy it with some of our LIC members. So, luckily, I must must say this. I luckily had a tour of the inside of the actual locker room, a personal tour, which was a highlight of my visit. The educational sessions were top-notch as usual. The 2025 agenda focused on four primarily educational areas. That was smart buildings, sustainability, digital transformation, which is technology integration and the workplace strategies. That I saw that a lot of people had a huge interest, like myself, in AI technology, which is here today and of course is the future. I am interested, and I'm hopefully in the future we can discuss as a team how AI, I'm really curious about how AI works in a law firm environment because there's so many confidentiality and things like that, agreements that you have to do. So hopefully in the future we'll be able to discuss that. And if you have or using AI at your law firm, would be interesting to learn about. Another big topic that LIC, the members, we all brainstormed on and talked about was security and risk management, identifying and responding to threats in today's world. And that was interesting just to bounce some ideas off on not even ideas, how are we as a law firm, how do we secure the space for our people? So again, that's another topic down the line that I'm hoping that we can kind of tap into and talk about. Um, and to wrap it up, the final event of the 3-day event was the 45th anniversary of excellence, celebrating the achievements of members, chapter councils, communities, and partners was really inspiring and entertaining. The awards recognize those who have made exceptional contribution to the FM profession. And as usual, IFMA did not disappoint. And overall, the events were entertaining, educational, and truly memorable. So I'm passing it on. Thank you.
Thanks. I think we'll have Phyllis speak to the next, which was the award from the LIC, the Scholarship Foundation Candidate Award. Phyllis, do you want to speak to this? I know you
Yeah.
know the most about it.
Yeah, sure. This is the second scholarship award the legal industry has given. And one of the reasons we do this is not only to support the IFMA Foundation, but also to get our name out there in the IFMA community, because many of them within IFMA do not know that we exist. And there are many, many, I guess, IFMA members who work for law firms or within the legal industry that do not know about us. So this is kind of a win-win, where we're supporting a student, supporting the IFMA Foundation, but we are also getting our name out there, name recognition, because it's part of the award, awards of excellence, where all of the communities who support the scholarships are on the screen and are acknowledged. So this year we gave our scholarship to Sebastian Powell. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I seem to have a problem with pronouncing names, last names. He's an architect major from the University of California, Berkeley. And let me tell you a little bit about the process. So we have to sign up each year to sponsor a candidate. And we go through the IFMA Foundation sends us a list of students who have signed up for possible scholarships. And they go through a rigorous program where they have to submit why they need the scholarship. They have to do a whole bunch of things just to get the scholarship. And not only do they just hand them money, but they also they have to come to World Workplace, and then they are in a competition with other scholarship awardees. And so we get to meet the scholarship awardee, and we also um, get to join the competition to see the competition in person, um, and select a winner of the students because they group up. And then we also, the president or whoever the president designates gets to accept the award on stage and hand the award to the scholarship awardee. So as you can see from the photo, Caitlin was there to hand the award. And one of the reasons we gave Sebastian the award as an architect major is because he believes that facility management is the strategic coordination of physical spaces to support an organization's operational efficiency. And I'm reading from his the information he submitted in his application. So he says an organization's operational efficiency, long-term vision, and people's well-being. It encompasses spatial planning, sustainability, health, safety, and adaptability. Facility managers play a key role in translating these design intentions into everyday functions, ensuring that buildings remain responsive to the people and priorities they serve. Now, that's great. These students are very, very smart. We always go in when we see the list because we can designate what requirement we want to give a scholarship. And we go in and we always want to look for someone who is wants to be part of the legal industry. And so many times, some of these applicants do not work for law firms or do not see the law firm as a facility management profession. So we go in and pick the next best thing, like what vertical would complement a law firm. And usually, architecture is one of them. So that's one of the reasons why Sebastian got the scholarship. And it's something that is highly rewarding for us. And I do recommend that we also support 2026 scholarship. So thank you.
All right, thanks, Phyllis. All right, now we're going to move on to 2026 and sort of planning for the year. So just real quickly, the new events for IFMA, the major events would be Facility Fusion, which is April 7 to 9 in San Francisco. And so if anybody's interested in that, there is an early bird rate until January 16th, which is coming up. And then World Workplace is going to be in Anaheim. I think Phyllis said it was just down the street from Disneyland, so an added adventure bonus there. And that's in November 18 to 20. So both in California this year. And then, so what we really want to do is if anybody is interested or if you become interested during the year, if you could let us know that you'll be attending. I think we will also learn that from the IFMA management. They'll let us know if LIC members have signed up. But what we would like to do is to organize some events where we can all meet up, like a lunch or a dinner. And then if there's a particular interest for any of them, we can schedule some events with you. So we'll try to keep track of who's signed up and then reach out to folks ahead of time so we can get that going. Phyllis, anything you want to add to that?
I'm going to Disneyland.
All right, and then the next thing, which is where we're going to sort of open it up to everybody. So if you would like to comment, we'll open this up. But the council's already received throughout 2025 some suggestions for new webinars, which we've shown here. There was a what keeps you up at night webinar, or not webinar, but roundtable discussion. And so we've talked about possibly doing a part 2 to that. And then like CJ mentioned, there's new trends, AI and other things. So we want to hear from you what topics you might be interested in hearing about. So we can arrange discussions or webinars around those topics. And then the ones that came up in the feed over the year were more information about RFPs, outsourcing, emergency planning and procedures, and then some space planning issues, which you see here. Return to office. I know we're all dealing in our industry with there's a constant movement around all of these issues as we go along. So I'll just open it up. Anybody, council or member, if anybody has any suggestions or things they'd like to hear more about.
Catherine, for your webinars, lunch and learn topics, maybe I should introduce myself. So for those that don't know me, so I'm Wayne Weitzel, second vice chair on IFMA's global board and immediate past president of the Corporate Facilities Council, and have been members of various Northern California chapters for about 25 years. And so one of the things that we are trying to do at the global level is really work with other organizations and create some some sinew and connections with those folks. So ALA would be one that perhaps we might want to consider, creating some relationships with. The last presentation I think I did for the LIC was we invited them, or it was vice versa. I forget. I think we invited LIC to them, to their event. But that's something I have a connection with those folks over there. And what we find with a lot of these other organizations is they don't have the ISO-backed, robust certifications that we do. They tend not to have some of the same levels of FM content. They might be focusing more on administrative level stuff, or even maybe more inside baseball stuff. So sometimes it's a value. So that's something, if you want to connect, I can facilitate that. Certainly. I'm sure maybe some people on this call might even be part of both. And then also because of I've spoken at so many chapters and councils and kind of in that speaker milieu. I know a lot of folks that could do some of this content for you as well. So if there are any, these specific things you mentioned, I can introduce you to some folks. And I've heard AI mentioned a couple of times on this call. There are some very good folks on that can speak at multiple levels, from beginner to extremely sophisticated as well, that we could put you in touch with. So consider me a resource for all of that. I'm happy to help.
That's fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Wayne. I'm sure we'll reach out. Anybody else?
Yeah, never being shy. I'll jump in. We haven't done an emergency planning session in a long time. I don't know, now probably over a decade ago, well over a decade ago, done multiple presentations to the council on emergency prep, being a veteran of more hurricanes than I can possibly care to mention on this call. We have some additional people here on this call who have had to deal with wildfires. We've had multiple people here who've had to deal with earthquakes. We're really well positioned to talk about that. We have some newer members that I think could really benefit from that. I would be happy to help put something together there if we can get a consortium. Phyllis, I know you've had a lot to do in that area in planning in the past. I'm sure a couple of us folks who've been around a little while would be happy to put something together on that. And not to pick on you, Phyllis, but I mean, you're in a hurricane area, or you're in an earthquake area and have to deal with all that. And you've got a lot of different planning that you have to go through. We've got folks on the East Coast who've had to deal with hurricanes. They've had to deal, everything from bomb threats all the way through. Happy to do something on that. And then to follow up on what CJ threw out, AI is changing the landscape, right? So there are real ways to use AI. There are a lot of new technologies and softwares that are out there and available. And I would just love to hear, we could have a whole separate roundtable just on what people are doing, what softwares, what tools, where they're seeing value, how they're finding it. If you're using something like Smartsheet, how are you using it? Are you using it to help you learn more about your projects? Better utilize your staff, cut down on the length of time it takes, for service calls, whatever it is. I would love to see something on those topics.
And Craig, I want to point out that Catherine is the safety planning manager for MoFo. So she could probably give a ton of insight and to help with that roundtable.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people on here where we could come together and pull a lot of information together. So yeah, I look forward to working with Craig and finding out who the experts are around here. So I think we can, because we all could use more information and refining everything, because it's always changing so quickly too, particularly with the different environments we have, with return to office and not returning, and
just workplace management. I mean, right now it's just huge. And we guys, one of the beautiful things about the LIC, and I'm probably one of the older members on this particular call. There are one or two that are still that surpass me, have been involved in the council even longer than I have, but that's saying something. The value we've talked about on this call. World Workplace. It's networking. It's this call that we're on right now. It's talking to each other in a non-critical, there is no criticism here. This is just an open, round form discussion. Be able to talk to people. What have you tried? What have you not tried? Find some new ideas. Go to World Workplace. If you've never gone to World Workplace, you are absolutely missing out. You should put that on your agenda. If you can't find a way to get your firm to agree to pay for it, reach out to the board, ask for help. We've helped people in the past with that, where there's been a real interest to be involved and to get that knowledge. Mentoring the younger people coming up through the ranks. And learning. There is, in my opinion, and AI is going to unfortunately put a twist on that. There's going to be a shortage of talented facilities people in law firms in the next 10 to 15 years. I feel strongly about that. I hope I'm absolutely wrong, but right now I am not seeing the development of some of the younger folks coming up. I'm not seeing the critical thinking skills that most of us on this call have had to apply through our entire career to get where we are and to help our firms be as successful as we have. I want to try and develop some ways to change that, and mentoring and bringing the younger folks up through the ranks can really help. And this conversation with this group of people it's a safe space. It should always be a safe space. It's a place where you can make a connection where, CJ, you may say, hey, well, John Quinn's got something. I know he did something. Let me call him. The relationships, Phyllis and I, although we haven't done it a lot lately because she's been busy, I've been busy, but when we first started working together, we talked all the time, and certainly from Mark Roberts, whose name you saw pop up, who was one of our past presidents working with me early on in my career. There's just a number of relationships that I've made through the LIC that have sustained me through my career and been great springboards to help younger folks coming up. And so that's my 2-second speech. I'm so glad everybody made time to jump on the call today. It's a testament to you wanting to get better at what you do and to take ownership of the profession that we all care passionately about.
Yeah, Craig, I think that's so well stated. And I think it reminds me that things are seem like they're changing, they always are, but changing even faster and faster with AI and other things. And it's really hard for sometimes in our profession, a lot of things are thrown at us in different capacities within the day. So the degree that we can come up with tools to help each other, I think will really be great, particularly with the young people. If we can get them more involved, and so in providing them with tools to solve those problems. I'm not sure how we do that, but we can, it's something to pursue.
I also am remiss in saying thank you so much to the new folks who have stepped up onto the board just recently due to some changes and some career moves in and out off the board. Thank you so much for stepping up and stepping in, and hopefully you will get as much out of being on the board as I have throughout my career.
Yeah, and I hope we can get, there's some other people on the call, so hopefully if people can step in, and I know people don't have a lot of time, so even if it's just a little bit of, they can help out for a while, or do a small task here and there, because we want to create a more dynamic council, and even just participants. So please email us if you have ideas or things you'd like to see, and we'll see what we can do. We've moved on to the thank you to the sponsors site. So we're going to do some more work on some new sponsors also in the next few months. And then the board has talked about sending out a follow-up to this meeting. I just want to say this before we lose people. We're going to do a follow-up to this to sort of summarize what we've talked about today, and then also give some ideas about some of the webinars that we might have coming up. But feel free again to email us with things you'd like to see. And we want to become more interactive on this, and hopefully we'll see more people at IFMA World Workplace and at Facility Fusion. It's going to be in San Francisco, which is a lot of fun. And it's usually good weather that time of year here too. So does anybody have anything else? We still have some time if anybody wants to talk about any other issues or topics.
Catherine and Craig, you in particular, I know Phyllis is, but are you both going to Fusion this year?
Yes.
Craig?
I'm not sure about Fusion. I'm definitely going to be at World Workplace, and not just because it's at Disney. That's actually very close to where I was born. I was born in Anaheim, so going to do a little home place, walk around.
Okay.
But I may be at Fusion also.
Okay, so I'm looking. This would be a great way to work together also. So the CFC, we're doing a learning lab on civil unrest. It's an immersive experience. It's 2 2-hour sessions, and we need table experts at each of the 10 or 11 tables to, I call it if you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons, I'm outing myself as a nerd, but kind of like the dungeon master of that table. You're going to guide people through the exercise. So if you are interested in that, we definitely could use some help and some people with your expertise on there to kind of draw that out of people and be the voice of reason. So we're looking for help. If you guys are interested in partnering, that would be great. So I'll just email you, Catherine, as we get closer, and you can share with the folks there.
Thank you, Wayne. What's on people's minds out there? What is keeping you up at night right now? That might be a good way to start on what do we look for some presentations. Anybody want to jump in on that?
Budgets.
We haven't done anything in budgeting in a long time. It's been a long time.
My budget.
The ever shrinking budget.
Get cut all the time, but yet they're asking for more.
How to do more with less.
And I can tell you that food is one of the highest budgeting costs because we're trying to feed people when they come into the office. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, they
food can
kind of,
always be a topic, right? Food, snacks, lunch, all those. Yes. We know we can go for at least a couple hours on that topic in a law firm.
Dietary restrictions,
Yeah.
bane of my existence.
Yeah.
There was some, Phyllis, you said somebody had asked about RFPs,
hmm
and I'm wondering, I don't know, if there's any particular issue within RFPs people are curious
Well,
about.
what I was told would be outsourcing, which is big. Most of the law firms outsource. So that's a huge topic. It's especially now that many of them have merged.
Yeah.
That's how do we get around, if there's lack of competition now with outsourcing? Maybe that's a topic. And then the other thing was construction, RFPs, and budgeting, because many of us are thrown into it and don't really know until you get the experience.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and actually there's a lot of nuance in that, being in the midst of one myself right now. So I think there's a huge learning opportunity there, for people if people are involved in that kind of thing periodically. Just the different budgeting of construction elements and how it fits into the firm's budget.
Always have a contingency budget.
yeah,
Always put it in.
I would be
it's
interested
always higher.
Sorry.
Yes.
I would be interested in learning or knowing if others, we are just moved in our building a couple of years ago. We have the whole building, 12 floors, and we have another building as well, that's a twin building. I would be interested in how you guys manage your assets. Do you have an asset management system? And if so, how do you currently use it? A lot of the times, IT is involved, but they don't really know what's in. We piggyback off of IT, but it not necessarily fits in with the facilities train of thought as it comes to asset management. But then again, there are some similarities there. So I would be interested if anyone in your law firm, if you guys are, how do you manage your assets? That's the furniture, equipment, supplies, those type of things.
CJ, when I'm at one of the World Workplace, I think in 2024,
Mhm.
I actually attended a session because we were in the middle of construction, and I didn't know this, but I learned something that day that blew my mind.
What was that?
And that is to ask the furniture company when they're building the furniture to tag the furniture and label it so you already have the information. Because when we moved into a new building in 2023. I didn't do that.
Mm.
So I had to have someone go around,
Yeah.
tag all the furniture over $1,000 and put it in a spreadsheet and then match it up with the invoices so accounting knew exactly, when it needed to depreciate and all that good stuff. So that is an excellent topic. And like I said, I learned about what I needed to do a year after I actually, could have used the information. But that's one of the good things about going to World Workplace is that education you find out that from, experts in the industry that you didn't know. So, and I've been doing this 30 years, 40, almost 40 years. Never figured that out. I should have known.
Something to learn. That's the good thing, right?
That's a great suggestion. I'm getting like 40 offices of furniture in Miami next year, so that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Right. It's like,
Yes.
why didn't I think of that? I
Yeah.
had it.
Now,
Yeah.
Why didn't I think of that?
do any of you guys have a full-fledged commercial kitchen?
No.
Okay. That's another thing. We do have an operating commercial kitchen. that I'm kind of responsible for, although we have a contractor that manages the kitchen operations. But of course, all the equipment and the cleaning of the equipment and contracts of that nature. Yeah. So yeah,
Mhm.
if anybody has any ideas about that, I'm totally open for that as conversation as well.
Well,
Mhm.
I do want to know, like, and this is another good topic because I've asked our hospitality team now to all have food service certifications and um to, just have them be aware that we're, even though we're not a restaurant, we're kind of feeding guests and employees. And so just, you know, being aware and managing that aspect, especially when clients come in and we're serving lunch, um, tips and things that they need to be aware of that you don't normally think about because, they'll, and I probably shouldn't say
Of
this on this
food
webinar,
safety,
but
like, speaking of food safety or handling.
yeah, because now it's like we have to use a separate cart just for catering versus what they're using to move boxes and office supplies and and disinfecting, it's just more that goes into setups and things that they aren't readily aware, especially if they've never worked in a law firm or in a restaurant
Mhm.
and things like that. So, um, your commercial kitchen and tips about food safety, I think would be another great webinar
Mhm.
for us. But I don't want to
Um,
hog the spotlight. So,
No.
I'm just going to mention in the chat, Jacqueline said a topic of interest could be how is AI going to contribute to facilities management and our role, and how will it be detrimental to us in the industry? So, kind of the pros and cons
Yeah.
of
I
AI.
think, yeah, in that regard, also there's so much we're just learning about it, but how can it help
Mhm.
us? Because there was an IFMA webinar not too long ago that I attended, and there were some great ideas in there about how you can develop processes and other things with the AI. So
Mhm.
this is all coming very fast, so I think we have to sort of
Yeah.
keep up with it. But I think there's some good content
Yeah.
there about just how we develop processes, and then we can share those things with each other as those things occur
I'm
also.
curious too. I mean, in the legal industry, the policies, I know our firm has various policies around it and a lot of controls on the technology and what we allow on our network before, everybody risk and everybody can really review stuff. So, just hearing from other law firms and how they're managing that too. I know Wayne needs to jump off, but he also put in the
Thank you.
chat a potential speaker for the RFP topic. So I jotted that down and we can follow up with him.
Fantastic.
Mhm.
All right.
And then the other thing to mention too was just the IFMA Engage platform. We also have the Legal Industry Council Engage. If you just have a quick question like, hey, who are you using for asset management? And you want to just find out who, in the Legal Industry Council is using stuff or, need a supplier recommendation, it's a great group. It's, law firms we have a lot of, common needs and we want to use things that have been proven in the legal industry and not really go outside of our little world. So just reaching out to this group for those kind of recommendations has been valuable. So don't forget that exists and is a way to connect.
Phyllis gave us a great sort of way to reach that
Mm-hmm.
that didn't work in the PowerPoint. So we'll send that as part of the follow-up. So it's an easier way to find that. It's a little hard to find sometimes until you know where it's at because it's a slightly different platform than
Are you
the
talking about
basic
the
Engage.
the
Yeah,
Engage,
Engage,
yep.
but it's the legal industry one. So you just have to go into the IFMA website to find that specific one.
Yep.
Catherine, that information is now posted on the website
Okay, great.
under communications. We've
Yeah,
we've
thanks so much.
revised a lot of it. And CJ, thank you for looking at that and helping make those revisions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One other quick note, Carla popped into the chat too. Another fun topic to dive into would be expansion planning.
Mm.
So, yep, we're expanding our Miami office right now. So yeah, that's top of mind for me too.
Are you expanding with folks working from home now? It's so funny. We're expanding, but people are not coming to the office. So I'm like, I don't get the logic, but hey, yeah, we did expand. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, some good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Richard Green here. So, hi, Richard.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Um,
Thanks,
all right.
everybody. I've got to drop.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
the
so
time.
much.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Craig.
thanks everyone. Thanks
Bye,
for
guys.
coming. We'll talk to you soon.